These days, most producers are opting to program drums rather than recording a live kit, and with good reason. Program drums and drum samples have come a long way. But one of the common arguments against programming drums is that they often sound dull and rigid, and you just can't capture that groove and feel like you can with a real drummer. But today, I'm going to show you how to take your MIDI program drums and add groove and life to them so that your program drum track will sound more and feel more like a real drum track. So when it comes to drums, groove is such a key element of how your drum track feels in the track. Drums are my primary instrument. I record drums all the time. I also program drums all the time. When I'm programming drums, I like to try to add some of that flavor and feel into the track, even if it's electronic music, hip hop music, chill beats, whatever. If you can add a little bit of groove to the drum track and keep it from being just straight up on the grid, it will add an immense amount of value and feel to your track that will translate to the listener on the other end. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into Logic Pro. I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. Okay, so first let's grab a point of reference. This is a verse section from my song Holding On that I dropped a few months back, and it's got this really cool kind of laid back vibe to the drum track in the verse, but you can feel it more than you can kind of hear it.
This isn't love, we only ever seem to fight. It's not enough, and we didn't even want to try. I never thought.
If you pay attention to the drum track in this section, you can feel that the kick drum is slightly behind the beat a little bit, and the hi-hat as well. You've got this 16th note hi-hat pattern, and it's got this accent on the 1 and 3 with the 2 and 4 being slightly lower in volume, and everything is just kind of right behind the beat a little bit. And this gives the track a lot more groove and feel to it rather than just being straight up on the click. So I have this drum track here that I've just programmed in and I gridded up. I just used a Logic drum kit just to kind of get the similar vibe to that drum track and Holding On. So same groove, but very lifeless. It's straight, rigid. I haven't done any leveling of volume or anything or velocities to the MIDI notes. It's just all straight up played in and then gridded hard to the click track. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start from like a state of 0 with everything. So I'm going to select everything. I'll do Command 9 to bring up my MIDI window here, and I'm going to go to Fixed Velocity. I'm just going to make everything the same velocity by doing Operate Only, and we'll just start there. That way I can kind of have a baseline where I want to begin with. And that's bringing things down too much, so we'll crank everything back up to 127. Cool. Now everything has good snap. It's all the same level. Everything is good to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address the hi-hat track. I'm going to select every other note, and we'll cut this down to just a 2-bar phrase. That way we don't have to edit everything. I'm going to grab those notes, every other note. I'm going to bring them down substantially. We'll go to like 75, and I will bring this to here. There we go. Let's see how this feels. So already we've got a cooler sounding hi-hat track, right? Instead of just it's and I'm going to take this, I'm going to pull these over here since we've got this 2-bar loop, and we're just going to make it like that. Okay, cool. Next thing I'm going to do is the kick drum. I'm going to take these notes, I'm going to pull them down a little bit, see where this gets us. Pull this one down as well. What are these at? 106. Cool. So I'm going to pull this one back down to around 106 as well. This is very subtle, and it's not going to translate as audibly as it is feel-wise in your track. An important thing to note about this is that with the kick drum on an actual live drum kit, it is very difficult to get the exact same velocity with 2 coupled notes like this. Bah, bah. So what's usually going to happen is you're going to hit the first one the hardest because you've got the full swing of the pedal. And then the second one, you're going to come back less than you did the first time, so you're not going to have as much velocity behind it. So you're going to go bapa, and that's usually what's going to happen in a drum track. It's subtle. It's not that audible. Most mix engineers and just engineers in general are going to try to compress this out. But if you can add it in there a little bit, you can feel free to compress it later, but you're starting with a more authentic sounding drum track. So these two things, just changing the velocities, has adjusted this drum track a lot. It's already sounding better. But there's another trick that's really cool that I like to add, which is adjusting the actual groove and swing of the notes so that it really has more life to it. And you can bring things behind the beat a little bit and just give it like a fat sound. So we'll select everything here and we're going to go up to swing. So right now we're on 16th note. It doesn't take much. A little bit goes a long way here. So if I just swing this, we'll go, what are we on, 16th note? We don't need 16th, we need 8th notes. So if we go to 8th notes to quantize, because we're at 170 BPM, and we take the swing, and we'll just go to 5 here. And you can see, if I zoom in, I'll take it back to 0. You can see every other note is moving off of the grid behind the bar line just a little bit. So that already has introduced like a little bit of groove to it. If we want to go really hard with it, I'll go extreme so you can hear what happens. So now it's like super swingy, right? That's not necessarily what we want for this track. We want it to sound straight, but we want it to feel fat. So a little bit goes a long way, like I said before. So let's just bring it, we'll go to 15, see what happens there. It's a little bit much. We'll give it a 10. Perfect. For me, that's perfect for this track. So if we go back up to the reference track with Holding On, you can hear kind of how this translated.
This isn't love, we only ever seem to fight.
So listening back to the original track and Holding On, you can hear how there are these ghost notes on the kick, kind of ghost notes every other on the hi-hat, and the kick drum and the hi-hat on the 8th notes are kind of behind the beat. So you keep your downbeats and your snare drum are right on the bar line so that everything lines up on your downbeats and on your backbeats. But then your 8th notes in between have that groove and that feel to them, along with adjusting those velocities. So adjusting your velocities inside of your groove and moving some notes inside of your groove will help your MIDI drum track feel more lifelike, while still being quantized to the grid. So you get the benefits of having really great samples quantized to the grid, but also the benefits of having a drum track that feels authentic so that it doesn't stick out of the track and actually detract from the listening experience. So that's it for this production tutorial. If you have questions about this or need clarification on anything that I've talked about in this video, definitely hit me up and let me know in the comments. If you have something that you would like to see me cover in addition to this or that I didn't touch on in this video, or just something completely unrelated to this production tutorial, but some sort of other production tutorial, definitely let me know in the comments as well. I definitely would like to help out as much as I can and help you make great music however possible. Now, if you don't subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, and share this video. And at the end here, I have a couple of other things you can check out. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.